Previously on Slay. Ariella sent Lincoln to collect a bounty on the Troglodyte from Tollingwood, the Lumencia neighborhood Billy lived in with his grandmother. The Troglodyte owes debts that must be paid, either with gold or his head. But it's the medallion he wears that Ariella wants. What does this medallion do? She won't say. Since Billy knows the neighborhood, Lincoln is bringing him along. And now, episode 52 of Slay. A talking mailbox, Link said, with big-ass lips. You sure you're not nipping the Nurplo bee? Billy wasn't sure if Lincoln was serious or kidding. Come on, Billy said. I know you've seen crazier shit than that. I've seen shit that would make your eyes sweat, Lincoln said. That doesn't mean you saw what you think you saw. Man, I hate public transit. My bike arrives tomorrow. I can't wait. They had taken the Old Stone Church's men's room portal to Cordis. Without leaving the platform there, they transitioned to the train station back in Lumencia. From the train station, a mostly empty bus ride on the 27 line. To anyone else on the bus, Billy and Lincoln looked like two regular guys coming home from a late shift at some construction site. But Billy saw the underskin, saw Link's armor and cloak, and his own shimmering chainmail shirt beneath the Carhartt jacket, jeans, and boots overlay. It's wild people can't see what's really there, Billy said, pinching a bit of chainmail and lifting it up for a closer look. Meshwork is crazy stuff. Lincoln reached into his cloak, pulled out a flask. Mesh is only a part of hiding it, he said. People see what they want to see, and they don't see what they don't want to see. A couple of guys our size at this time of night, people try to not look, you know? Until a few weeks ago, Billy was one of those people trying to not look. Hell, he still was, even though he stood 6'4" and weighed over 200 pounds. He thought he did anyway. Maybe he could ask Ariella to buy a scale. Lincoln took a swig from the flask. Hey, Billy said, should you be drinking for one of these things? He glanced up to the bus driver, who was staring out at the road. What things? Lincoln asked. These things, Billy said. Like, is this a case or a bounty or what? Lincoln shrugged. It's a job. He took another swig. Leave it at that. He offered Billy the flask. No thanks, Billy said. I want to be sober for this. Your loss. Lincoln took another swig, a longer swig, then sealed the flask and put it back in his cloak. Are you sure you don't want a gun? I don't want you trying to use your magic and going all Dresden on me. You can use my shotgun. Billy winced. He knew it wasn't the same shotgun Lincoln had used to kill Joe, but still. Lincoln had the emotional sensitivity of a sea urchin. I hate guns, Billy said. I got faith that if something goes bad, you'll handle it. Billy hadn't meant that as a compliment, but Lincoln obviously took it that way. Yeah, I got you, Lincoln said. But you need to get over your gun thing. And fast. Magda could teach you. She's a hell of a shot. Magda had already offered that. Maybe Billy would take her up on it. He had seen some crazy shit since crossing paths with Lincoln Franks. Maybe Billy would never be the 2A proselytizing gun nut, but he didn't like the thought of his moral code making him an easy kill. The bus slowed to a stop. Billy glanced out the window, saw the McDonald's sign with glowing graffiti on it that said, Burger King don't know a beef patty from a butthole. This is us, Billy said. They stepped out onto 4th Street, streetlights illuminating the dirty sidewalks and parked cars. T-Wood, where Billy had grown up, where Grandma had made him live a lie, where he and Joe had kicked around for years before Joe moved to Miami, where Butch and the Rollin' Outlaws made Billy's life a living hell. But not anymore. Dragon had seen to that. And before Dragon mushed Butch into bloody paste, Billy had beaten the man in a straight-up fight. Billy had won because of what Link had taught him. A fair fight is a fight you lose. The spot looked as he remembered it. Bird shit spattered awnings above... The spot looked as he remembered it. Bird shit spattered awnings above abandoned businesses. Walls with chip bricks, trash clustered in wind-blown piles. The magical, glowing sign that read Coletta's Curse Removal and Pawn. And across the street, the electric purple letters spray-painted on the alley entrance, the Perps Nerpitarium. Man, it's crazy I didn't see all this magical graffiti before I got enlightened, Billy said. You see stuff like this elsewhere in the city? Lincoln glanced around. Sometimes, he said. Doesn't really register to me anymore. Shit. Sometimes, he said. Doesn't really register to me any more than billboards and stop signs. The stuff is just there. He glanced at the McDonald's sign. Hey, beef patties and buttholes. That's funny. Billy pointed down the street. Mailbox is up on the next corner. Link nodded. Let's go. They were halfway down the block when Billy saw a bag lady pushing a shopping cart coming their way. He stiffened. You know her? Lincoln asked. She a mesh worker? What? No, she's not a wizard. At least I don't think she is. It's old lady Rodriguez. She's been around here forever. Come on, we gotta move before she recognizes me. Billy started to turn around, but stopped when Link smoothly grabbed his arm. Calm down, Link said. I don't think you realize how different you look now. Keep walking. When they passed old lady Rodriguez, she shied away from them, avoiding eye contact. She continued on down the sidewalk. Damn, Billy said. You were right. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, Lincoln said. Let's get this done. Your old neighborhood sucks. I can complain about T-Wood, Link. You can't. You never lived here. Right, Lincoln said. Because you had it so hard. A person like me could never understand having hard times growing up. Basically, that had been exactly what Billy meant. Sometimes he forgot Link and Magda had entered Rixator training at a young age. Vow of poverty and all that shit. Hell, maybe Billy had had it better than Link. They approached the mailbox. I'll be damned, Lincoln said. Rocky Horror Lips, just like you said. It was just as Billy remembered. A beat-up USPS mailbox with a set of red lipstick lips underlaid by the box's mail drop pull-down door. The mailbox, who went by the name Rocky, Billy knew, must have sensed them coming, because those big lipstick lips smiled wide. Oh my, Rocky said. Look who the cat dragged in. Old lady Rodriguez hadn't recognized him, but the mailbox had. I never seen you before, Billy said. The mailbox's mouth opened and a glistening tongue the size of Billy's chest came out, the tip tracing the lips. I can taste the air around you, Rocky said. And Pumpkin, you taste good. Did you bring any cookies to mail? It doesn't look like you brought cookies. And who is that handsome fellow with you? Lincoln crossed his arms and stared. We're looking for a troglodyte. He sounded like he talked to mailboxes every day. He's got some punk rock looking spinal crest on his head. Carries a stone axe. You seen him? Until this moment, Billy hadn't been sure, not 100% sure anyway, if he had hallucinated the mailbox. Lincoln saw and heard the same thing Billy saw and heard. The lipstick mailbox was real. A stone axe? Rocky said. Maybe I have. A guy who visits the Nerp Perp fits that bill. Billy shuddered. Memories of seeing the Nerp Perp were not good ones. Nerp Perp, Lincoln said. Where do we find him? Billy pointed to the alley across the street, to the glowing magical sign that said, Nerp Perps Nerpator. Billy pointed across the street to the glowing magical sign that said, Perps Nerpatorium. Huh, Lincoln said. That looks kind of familiar. That had to be his idea of a joke. It's the alley where Jerboas ate Big Hack, Billy said. And where you fought Pragman. And where you tried to kill me? Lincoln peered closer. Oh yeah, now I remember. Lincoln had been ready to put Billy's severed head in a box, taking Billy's life to collect a $50,000 bounty. Yet he could barely recall the moment. Was killing that common to Lincoln that taking one life, two if you counted Pragman's lizard dog, and almost taking a third was something that scarcely registered? If Billy continued to go out on these jobs, would the same thing happen to him? Come on, Lincoln said. He started across the street. Don't go yet, Rocky said. We could talk for a bit. You heard about that new... Don't go yet, Rocky said. We could talk for a bit. You heard about the new postal rates? That shit is wiggity whack. Not now, Billy said. I gotta go. He hurried after Lincoln, vaguely aware of the mailbox asking when Girl Scout cookie season was coming, and could Billy please mail a few boxes of Samoas and Thin Mints. Billy caught up just as Lincoln stepped into the alley. Bigger now, stronger now, imbued with at least a degree of magic now, yet Billy didn't feel any less afraid than he had the last time he had been here. Not because of the people who had been hunting him, but because of the nightmare Jerboas, the strange, mystical creatures that kept the underskin secret from the unenlightened. Kept it secret by slaughtering any unenlightened who learned too much, or any enlightened that shared too much. Billy had watched the Jerboa's knife teeth tear Big Hack to pieces and swallow those pieces whole. They hadn't just eaten him, they had erased his existence. Hey man, I don't want any trouble, man. Billy came back to the moment, realized he'd walked side by side with Lincoln to the end of the alley, where the Nerp Perp sat cross-legged, a blanket before him on the alley floor, covered with his various offerings. Billy recognized vials of Nurple and knobby, multicolored gobbers that Magda liked so much. As for the rest of the drugs, Billy had no idea what they were. The Perp's half-lidded eyes looked up through his wire-frame glasses. The red bandana tied across his forehead and long hair was dotted with streaks of grime and grease. Won't be no trouble, Lincoln said, as long as you answer my questions. I'm looking for a trog. I'm told he frequents your... Lincoln glanced up the alley walls at the bags of trash lining them. Your, fine establishment. The Nerp Perp held up his hands. Look, man, I don't know any troglodytes, okay? And trogs is like a really racist term, man. You dig? Lincoln flipped his raggedy gray cloak aside like an Old West gunfighter. He reached into the folds, came out with that wicked-looking, rune-covered, long-bladed hatchet in his hand. Pardon me. Billy wanted to know how that cloak worked. The physics of it. How was it even possible? The words of his friend Joe came back to him. You can't science this stuff, B. Joe, who had been Billy's best friend all through childhood. Joe, who Lincoln had killed as casually as one might swat a mosquito. Lincoln flipped the hatchet in the air. Billy saw the weapon's spinning reflections in the Nerp Perp's glasses. Lincoln caught the handle, flipped it again. A politically correct drug dealer, Lincoln said. Gonna be hard to deal said drugs with only one hand, man. The Nerp Perp swallowed audibly. Oh, wow, man. Now I remember, he said. You're looking for Pluka. Yeah, man. I know where he lives. Oh my God, Billy said, waving a hand in front of his nose. Smells like shitbird poop after he comes home from a dumpster dive. Lincoln had forgotten how much troglodytes stank. Billy's comparison was pretty accurate. Shitbird has digestive issues, Lincoln said. It ain't his fault. Trogs, on the other hand, they just don't bathe all that much. The tunnel was wide enough for Link and Billy to walk side by side. Spacious by subterranean standards. I can't believe this has been here the whole time, Billy said. I've been at this BK and had no idea this was right under my feet. The kid was still getting used to all the things hidden away in the underskin. In this case, a steep stone slope that ran from a mesh-hidden door behind the Burger King down to the tunnel in which they now walked, heading toward a larger room lit by flickering torchlight. All cities, everywhere in the world, had places hidden in plain sight. The unenlightened had no idea what lurked around them. All cities, and yet, for some reason, the American city of Lumencia had more than most. Just before reaching the end of the tunnel, Lincoln stopped, put a hand on Billy's chest to stop him as well. Lincoln drew his knife, offered it to Billy, hilt first. I'll make sure he can't hurt us, Lincoln said. Then you will finish him. Billy looked at the knife. Finish him? You mean kill him? I gotta kill him? Blazing hells. Did the kid still not get it? Yeah, Lincoln said. We're bounty hunters. This is what we do. Hesitantly, Billy took the knife. Stay behind me, Lincoln said. Watch my back. Lincoln drew Bastard Maker. Lincoln drew Bastard Maker. He gave his cloak a flip, letting it flare out and cover his body at the same time. He stepped through the opening. Torches dotted the walls, drawing flickering shadows from stalactites and stalagmites, reflected from shallow pools of water in the stone floor. At the far wall, some 30 feet away, a troglodyte sat slouched in a stone chair, his stone axe resting against the armrest. Green, scaly skin, with a few patches where scales had fallen off to reveal dark, dry-skinned bits beneath. Big old gut hanging over a leather belt. He had the body of a short, stocky brawler who had let his conditioning get away from him. Far away. A crocodilian head with his spinal crest sagged to one side like an ill-conceived comb-over. The pupils of his reptilian eyes were so dilated, the vertical black slits looked almost round. Hanging from a leather thong around his wide neck was the medallion Ariella wanted. The medallion, too, was made of stone. The troglodyte, Pluka, saw them. It clumsily started to stand to reach for the stone axe, then fell back on the seat. He was so high he couldn't stand up. He is nerped to the gills. Lincoln slid the hatchet back into his cloak. Total addict. But isn't he enlightened? Billy asked. I thought Nerp would let the unenlightened see the underskin. It does. It also gets the enlightened high as balls. Think of it like acid and heroin rolled into one. Pretty easy to get hooked on it, like this guy is. Billy had done one dose. Billy had done one dose only, as far as Lincoln knew. That dose had opened his mind to the reality of existence. The trog tried to rise again, grabbed at the axe handle. Get out of my home, he said, or I'll feast on. He again fell back in the chair. The axe handle slipped from his scaly fingers and clattered against the stone floor. Okay, kid, Lincoln said. With a trog, the best spot is like just behind the ear slits, downward at about a 45-degree angle. Lincoln took one step to the right, clearing their way. Billy said. Best spot for what, exactly? Billy was smarter than Lincoln. By a lot, Lincoln knew. But the kid had no common sense. To kill him, Lincoln said. Get it done so we can get his head and get that medallion. But he's, he's helpless. Helpless. No common sense at all. Yeah, that's the point, Lincoln said. Makes your first kill easy. Billy took a step toward the Trog, stopped. But he's talking to us, the kid said. Like, he can talk, in English. If he was speaking French, would that make it easier? Jam that knife in his fucking ear and let's fucking go home. I need a goddamn fucking nap. Billy looked at Link, disbelief in his eyes. The kid was a softie. Not that there was anything wrong with that. He'd learn eventually. For now, though, Lincoln really did need a nap. He reached into his cloak and again drew Bastard Maker. Fine, he said. I'll do it. Billy rushed in front of Lincoln, knife raised toward the Troglodyte. You owe some people a lot of gold, Billy said in a rush. You got to pay up here, or my friend is going to cut off your head. The Troglodyte blinked slowly, bent forward, reached for his axe. Billy kicked it away. It's a Pluka, yeah? The kid said. What's your name? Shit. It's Pluka, yeah? The kid said. That's your name? The stone Troglodyte blinked slowly. He nodded. Well, Pluka, it's your lucky day, Billy said. You see, my associate here hasn't cut off anyone's head in a while, and he really likes cutting off heads. Fortunately, I don't. Sight of blood makes me queasy. And that broken chunk of spine sticking out, yuck, am I right? Now, I'm hoping that you have 312 pieces of gold here that we can take with us, so I don't have to see your blood and your spine. I had a cheesy gordita crunch earlier. I want to keep it in my belly, So it's your call, Pluka. The money or my half-digested gordita mixing with your blood all over this lovely, lovely stone floor. Christ on a crutch, that kid could talk fast. He had talked like that when Lincoln had come to take his head. The Troglodyte's glazed eyes looked to Lincoln. Lincoln patted the hatchet blade against his open palm. A Rixator, Pluka said. I didn't do nothing to bring a Rixator. Former Rixator, Billy said. Now he's freelance. Some off with their head skills, different job description, so to speak. Come on, buddy. Tell me you got that gold. What a waste of time. Billy needed to learn the hard lessons of behind third stalagmite from the left, Pluka said. There is a hole. Gold is in there. Billy ran to the stalagmite, jutting up a good 8 feet from the stone. Oops. Billy ran to the stalagmite, jutting up a good 8 feet from the stone floor, reaching toward a stalactite hanging down from above, a drop of water dripping down from the latter to the former. Kid, Lincoln said, slow down. It could be a trap. Smiling wide, Billy stood, held up a bulging leather bag. Here it is. I'll count it out, Link. Hold tight. The kid sat on the wet floor and gently dumped out the contents of the bag, making a pile of gleaming gold coins. Well, how about that? As Billy counted, Lincoln stepped closer to the stoned Trog. Hopefully you got enough, Lincoln said. If so, it is your lucky day. The reptilian eyes narrowed, tried to focus. Doesn't seem lucky, he said. I borrowed that money to pay off some people. Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul? That wasn't Lincoln's problem. It's all here, Billy said. And 7 left over. I'll put that in a hole, but I got to take the bag. The kid was leaving 7 gold pieces. Just take it all, Lincoln said. Call it a finder's fee. Billy stood, tightening the strap of the bulging bag. Contract says to recover 312 gold pieces, he said. Any more than that, Link, and we're stealing. Stealing? Well, yeah. Now that Link thought about it, it was stealing. Billy had morals. Weird. Link, Billy said, pointing to his own sternum, about where the troglodyte's necklace hung. Link had almost forgotten. And your necklace, he said to Pluka. You got the money. The trog put his hand on the stone disc. This was my mother's. I didn't steal it from no one. Whatever. If there's one thing Lincoln knew, it was that you couldn't trust an addict. Consider it a tip, Lincoln said, for not killing you outright. He gave his hatchet a flip, which we can still do. Now see, I didn't have a gordita for lunch, so cutting your head off won't bother me a bit. A brief flash of sobriety crossed the trog's eyes, then was gone. Slowly, regretfully, Pluka lifted the necklace up over his dorsal fin mohawked head, and he looked at it for a moment. It's all I have left of her, he said. Lincoln snatched it from his scaly hands. I don't care, he said. You ever hear that phrase, rock bottom, Pluka? This is yours, which is kind of cool since we're actually at the bottom of a rock cave. But I digress. You came real close to death just now. Get some help with your Nurple problem. Change your ways. Kid, let's head out. Lincoln let Billy leave first, then followed him into the tunnel, feeling surprisingly good. They'd recovered the money and got the necklace, and done it without killing anyone. Kind of strange, but kind of nice, too. Now, to head home and see if Ariella could tell him what mysterious thing the necklace could do. That was episode 52 of Slay. We'll be back with episode 53 next. You will find out what the medallion can do, and it will blow your mind, I assure you. Good day. That's it. There we go. Baby girl, feel free to come on up. Get on up. Get on up. Okay, so lots of things going on from my producer brain. Sound is not what I want it to be, but the scotch is. It's great. Here you go. A little something for you. And now we have 42 people on the Twitter. Again, I assure you, any kind of view count you see from Twitter is probably not all that accurate, would be my guess. 4X missed all but the last 2 minutes. All right, that's all right, bud. No worries. A's been downstairs coughing up a storm, so we'll see if she can come up here in a second. Chris Grawl's in the house. What's up? Richard Bennett, glad you're loving the story. Is this a Sigler book chapter? Baker asks, is this a Sigler book chapter or an after-school special? Don't worry, Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD. The violence will return soon. Oh, there we go. As you can tell, my voice is shot. I'm happy I got through that. I think I was going to make it. Hey, babe. What's that, peoples? Thank you.
I'll let these puppies in.
All right. Here we go. Move this here. So we only have one camera now. We used to have two cameras, and it's going to take us a little while to figure out how we do the two-cam business again. So this time, me and A are going to snuggle right on up. No, Sean, it wasn't. Oh, shit, here we go. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Did you?
Yeah, and I spilled shit all over.
That happens. Hold on. Hello, everybody. There you go. There's our signature canned applause sound for A. Actually, we record in front of a live studio audience. It's pretty impressive. Here we go. All right, guys. How are we doing on time? That was pretty good. That wasn't bad at all.
Is my mic on?
Your mic should be on, darling.
Okay, just checking.
And holler out if anything sounds weird, because we had to fix everything. All of our presets did not copy over from the old machine to the new machine. We are going to talk about the new machine a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, Richard Bennett. Hey, Daryl. Hey, Sean. Scroll up a tiny bit. Somebody says the sound is a little off with the new setup. I'm not sure. I think we've only had this last Sunday's episode that was not even quite this new setup. So that's good to know.
Yeah, the sound is a little off. There's several problems we're trying to solve right now. We got a new machine, copied everything over. We use a recording system called Universal Audio Apollo, and there's some hardware and mostly software for that. And I have all the presets on the old machine. For some reason, the presets didn't copy over. Channel strips and settings did, but the individual presets for the plugins did not. So the signature things we've got dialed in for her voice and my voice are missing in action. We're going to figure out where those are at, and we will talk to Universal Audio about that.
You can also probably tell the lighting in here is a little bit off. That comes through the new machine as well. I will say, though, if it sounded off now, it will be fine in the audiobook when the audiobook happens.
Yeah, it should be good. So we're a little quieter than we've been before, and I'm trying to get that under control. It's a pretty easy way to fix that. Crank that up a bit, crank you a bit. There you go. Now,
hello.
We did not record the video this time because we don't need to anymore. So now here's what we're going through. We'll tell you about the new setup if you are interested. The 2017 iMac Pro. Whether you're interested or not, here we go.
Talking about it.
The 2017 iMac Pro is in the process of being sunsetted. We still keep it around because there's a bunch of stuff on there, like the presets I told you. I got to figure out where they are, copy them over. We have an M2 Mac Mini, which is a pretty good deal. And I've heard some bad things about the M3 Mac Minis being actually slower than the 2017 iMac Pro. So we got discounted M2 Mac Mini. That is set up. And what else are I going to say about that shit?
So there's a handful of things. The new Mac Mini, Scott and several of you who are in this chat have been in the new Lair of Doom. But Scott's what we look at when we look at you guys, Scott has two monitors. One was the old production Mac, and that was kind of on this side of Scott.
Yeah.
And then what we're both looking into right now is
that side. It's the stinky side.
Did
you forget your point?
I glitched a little. Sorry.
It's a manly smell. It's a manly smell.
And then, I'm all red. I didn't even say it, and I'm all red. I got to take off my shirt, my sweater. I mean, you know. So the other monitor that is on this desk is sort of a wide monitor. It's I don't know how to do this.
It's wide like your mom.
Well, my mom's tiny.
Yeah, your mom's not very wide. That's true.
But that is one of the things that we have to fix. And I think that it'll take us a couple of weeks to get it dialed in because the other monitor was the whole production Mac, of course, the way they used to work. And now they're these little discs that are squares that go underneath. So we're probably going to eventually sunset the production Mac. Gennalia, thank you very much.
We probably need to get a new monitor because the 2017 iMac is apparently so old we can't even use it as a monitor. It's a gorgeous machine. It's a bummer, but we got to figure that out. So probably get a new monitor so we can have our production setup going. So that's one thing we got to do. We got to figure out the issues with the sound. We've got 4 years worth of sound dialed in to our particular voices and this room. Can't access that right now. God damn it, I just don't want to start over because that shit took forever.
It took forever. So and any of you guys who were around with us when we were doing the face lettuce bracket back in March of 2020, remember how chaotic it was. We had costumes. Just to distract you from all of the noise. 4X, the one I was talking about, the very wide one, is a curved monitor. It's quite lovely. It isn't enough for this system that we have, but we're going to get it together in the next hopefully handful of weeks.
Get it together.
Potentially handful of months, but we'll see.
Get it together. All right, so yes, we're going to go over so I think I've covered everything. So it'll probably take us a few more sessions to get everything properly dialed in. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Lots of stuff to figure out, man. So much of this stuff with audio visual takes forever to figure it out. Then you get it done, and it's short-term memory. And then literally 2 or 3 years later, something goes wrong, and you have no idea what's happening. I moved one microphone 2 feet from one side of the desk to the front of the desk.
Hey, Jude, nice to see you. I love
and
you.
all of a sudden there was this huge hiss and all the sound that took up an hour for me to try and get under control. So a lot of stuff going on. We'll get that.
You guys will be very proud of him. He didn't yell very much at all.
Very
much
little.
at all.
Very little. Let me give you the schedule of the stank. Sunday, March 17th, which is in the past time. Slay 50. Yeah.
Before the next one, Sunday, March 17th, and then Saturday, March 23rd. The iceberg's birthday.
Oh, happy
My
birthday,
good friend,
Iceberg.
Steve Rickenberg, has a
birthday.
birthday on Saturday. So you should all wish him a happy birthday because he's fantastic.
Sunday, March 17th, Slay 51 dropped into the feed. Sunday, March 24th, in the future time, Slay 52, which you just did tonight, will go live in the feed. Wednesday, March 27th, it will be the live read of Slay 53. Hopefully, have a few more bugs worked out and get to entertain you there. Saturday, April 6th, of course, speaking of the iceberg, that is the Junkie meetup. It is a little Zoom meeting. So if you guys got to do Zoom meetings and Zoom meetings suck, this is a fun Zoom meeting. You can bring your own beer. You don't even have to share it with anybody. You don't have to share a goddamn thing. And Steve, of course, runs that
Jen,
from
nice to see you.
4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time, wee hours of the morning Eastern time. Very fun. And then May 1st, Slay Season 1 in ebook and audiobook. Don't know when we'll have print, but hopefully very close to that. Now, if you haven't already pre-ordered, just hold on to your britches for a second. Hold on to your britches. We're going to send out... Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. You're talking about... I was just going to say they did it today. Amazon did it today. Okay.
Wait, they did what? I don't want them to pre-order.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you pre-ordered, that's fine. If you haven't, just hold tight because we're going to send out information on, you should text this. By the way, if you don't have this already, text SIG-TEXT to 855-955-5095. 850 people sign up now. It's kind of crazy. We send out messages for when key things happen for us, when new products are available, or of course, to let you know when these live streams are going. You also can get the newsletter, scottsigler.com/newsletter. We will let you know when to buy Slay Book 1. It's an important book for us because it's on an old version of the Audible contract that we can't get anymore.
Oh, it is.
So if you've been saving your ducats for any reason, this is the time to spend your ducats. This is the time to spend your Audible credit. This is the time to tell your friends about this crazy urban fantasy story with sex gnomes that carry around dildos named Mjolnir. This is the time to get everybody else to rally around. But we're going to rally everybody around the cause much more vehemently when the time comes. Now, speak away. What are you going to say?
What I was going to say is if you happen to have already ordered Slay because you saw it at Amazon or somebody in Sigler Junkies told you it was at Amazon, you will have gotten an email today or you'll get it tomorrow that says, the pre-order has moved from April 1st to May 1st. We had already told you about that. We knew that that was going to happen, but I know that the email started to go out today for that. Part of the reason is all of this this trouble that we've been having on this feed. That is the audio. This whole room, we did a tour of it. It is all, every wall is covered with soundproofing. So this is the audio, but the actual recording of the audio was a little bit screwy. So
we've had multiple problems by trying to do this. We're streaming it. Just trying to record the streaming. Then we're using this wonderful program called Descript, which takes your video and transcribes all the audio. So when A edits the audio, sorry, I just realized something I got to do after this. When A edits the audio, she's actually reading text and can save time editing because there's just big chunks where she can just highlight the whole chunk and delete it. It's super easy and has saved us a ton of time. Shit, I forgot. Where was I going with this?
When it worked. But then we had some glitches happen that aren't our fault. Well, you go ahead.
The conversion process actually started introducing these little pops, and Steve Rickenberg helps a little. At least he points us in the right direction. But we are getting pops at specific places in the converted live stream into Descript that even though Descript can reproduce them, they can't explain what they are. They can't get rid of them. So as the stream went on for Slay Season 1, they got worse and worse. It's a nightmare to edit. So now we have to record the whole fucking thing. We're going to re-record the whole goddamn book 1. So at least accents will be tighter and the consistency of the characters will be tighter. So hi, Jen. So it'll be...
Hey, Jen.
It's a pain in the ass, especially coming at this time. We're going to talk about the books that are coming up in a second. But we will get it done because that's what we do. We are the Siglers, and we persevere.
And we have had, you guys know, if you've been here the whole time, if you're a normal Wednesday night live stream watcher, you already know that we have had a crazy first quarter of the year. It's been very, very busy for us. Scott has multiple deadlines. We have had a slowly failing production computer problem, which is what Scott is talking about. Steve helped identify. We replaced that computer, and now we have to make the new computer just as cool and nifty as the old computer, which will take a couple of weeks.
So already with the new computer, we know we're recording these streams live in Logic, which is an audio-only program, instead of recording them in OBS, which is video and audio. So now we skip the conversion process from OBS from a MKV file to an MP4 file, which then gets put into script, and that's where the pops come from. So for consistency's sake, make a better product, we have to do everything. I'm not happy about it, but it's got to get done. Speaking of the upcoming books, we were just talking about this, were we not? This was called a segue when you were Tony, Emmy Award-winning producers like us.
I'm an EGOT. I don't know about
You're
you.
an EGOT?
Yeah. No,
EGOT! Okay, here's where we are. I thought I was going to get you guys screenshots of this shit, but because the recording setup took yet another giant steamy poo upon my beautiful bald noggin. This is where we're at. I have to read it to you. Crypt Book 2. We are now 1/3 of the way through Crypt Book 2 first draft. It opens up with a bang, and there's some gross stuff. And then I am just getting to the point at the end of, I believe the end of Act 1, where some other gross stuff happens. We are going to have some news for you about the RR36 prop rifle. Chris Grawl is in the chat room right now. He is the primary consultant with designer Zach Parrish to make that. It's very super fucking cool stuff. It looks so cool. Super fucking cool. And then also, while I was gone, while we went up north for a couple of days, I got the last plot points ironed out with the editor for Warpath. So Warpath, I think, is actually 3/4 of the way done. There's a lot of question there. They had a lot of problems with 3 particular plot points, and it took me a while to kind of massage the conversation. It took me a while to massage the conversation. I had to think about things that would make the editors happy, and then the editors had to consider them. So now we're pretty good to go. The second draft should go pretty quick. I'm hopeful the second draft will be the final draft. We shall see. Mm-hmm. Slay Book 2, which you're listening to tonight, that is now, I would say, over half done.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, the shit's about to hit the fan in episode 53, and by episode 54, it's, take the crazy bus to Bonkerstown. Things are going to get nuts. And then if I can ever get my noggin around it, and by noggin, I mean wrap my nuts around this thing, GFL Book 7, I would say, is 5/6 of the way done. We're in the final draft of that. I just need to go through the whole thing.
I'm going to let him talk about his nuts, I guess. He's had a rough day. He just...
Yes.
So I'll go back and talk about Slay Book 1. As I just mentioned, as you guys already knew, and now everyone will know, we are moving to May 1st release day. Oren, I think you said Slay Day, Slay Day, Slay Day. Yes, it is on. We are releasing Slay on May Day. So if you guys want to come up with whatever a sleigh poll might look like, do not send photographs. That's
for a
all
sleigh
I'm
poll?
asking. For a sleigh poll.
I don't need
do not do it.
I don't need your
a sleigh day poll.
I don't need your sleigh day poll.
No.
Hi, John Bivens.
But I will also say, so that is coming along well. That will be out
later, Forex,
in ebook and audiobook on May 1st. We will follow along with Slay Book 2 as quickly as possible from there. That will probably also be this year if this new setup goes
I just fucking
well.
blocked someone on goddamn Twitter. Son of a bitch.
Right?
Hey, Vamp, while
I'll do that. I got no problem.
We had somebody on
doing
Twitter who just lovely made a comment, and I screwed it up again and blocked them out.
well, at least we're consistent, if nothing else. So if you, he just mentioned we spent a couple of days up in the Bay Area. We saw good friends in San Francisco. We saw good friends in Oakland and met new friends in Oakland. And we spent time.
Hold on one sec. Terminus Est on Twitter. Sorry, I can't reply to you. So when I go to hit the button that normally click, pull down reply and hit it, I can reply. That blocks you. That's the only option. So I blocked you for a moment. But yes, Terminus S says, buy more books. This is so low budget. And our books are incredibly affordable. Incredibly affordable.
I know.
Go, baby.
So we spent a handful of days. We have been pretty nose to the grindstone here this quarter since the new year began at Empty Set. It's been a very busy time for a lot of reasons. We had to replace the computer. We had a lot of things going on. You guys know we take care of my folks up in northern San Diego County. But we had a few days over Patty's Day to enjoy time with friends in San Jose. Our good friends, Stephen and Maria, who you guys know well if you've ever been to Siglerfest, and they're often here. And then got to see friends in Oakland and San Francisco as well. And now we're back and nose to the grindstoning it for another few months to get caught up on some of these deadlines. And we're going to do it, I think. Hey, Sandy.
Sandy
hey, Mom
Balter.
2.0. We love you so much. So happy to see you out there. If you guys are in the Facebook chat room and you see Sandy Balter right there, hello, you all from Florida. Love hearing your voices and seeing your awesome faces. Sandy is, if I have this correct, Scott calls Mom, even though Carol Sigler is his mom, because Carol and Sandy and Coach all taught school together and are all BFFs. And Sandy is the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful addition to my life in the last 5 years that is not a Sigler. So
Now,
there you go.
There are people who say, excuse me, it takes a village to raise a child. In my case, it took a triage team. So Sandy had to come in and help out Irv and Carol. Because this was a lot of work. There wasn't any, I wasn't on parole per se. I mean, I was on a Satan worshiper watch list for playing D&D.
Well,
but I was
just a lucky catch.
I was
actually.
a lot. It took a lot to keep up with me when I was younger.
And I will say, if you guys have been, of course, if you've been to Siglerfest, you've met Sandy. She's fantastic. But I'll also say what Scott just said about it took a triage team to raise him.
Yep.
I will also say that one of Sandy's spectacular children, her name, I'll just say one of Sandy's spectacular children says her favorite person on earth is Coach Sigler, which is his dad. And I understand that whole dynamic because I'm so lucky to know all three of them.
Yep. So we've got you guys caught up on the books. I mean, I have to say this, I have the best job in the world, but as Eminem once said, it's a good job. It's a great, fun job, but it's a job. Mm-hmm. And I continue to be up against it, will be up against it, I would say, for another 3 months, probably. By 3 months, yeah. I should be done with Crypt Book 2's first draft, have that off to A and the rest of the team, and Big John Viscar for continuity edits. Hopefully I'll be done with Warpath, and maybe never have to see that again. It remains to be seen. Slay Book 2 in 3 months will be closing in on being finished. Slay Book 1 will be in the marketplace. You will have all spent your hard-earned money to buy that goddamn book. And then hopefully we'll be closing on GFL 7. So so it gets a little frustrating when I have all of these conflicting, coinciding deadlines, and then all of the audio stuff just takes a total shit. Yeah, and I have to figure it out because I am also the IT guy for the company. I get some help for outside help from time to time, but pretty much I got to figure it all out. So it's a
for
good
the things
time.
I can do, I am not an IT guy at all. I literally stand right here, right behind him. Like today when he was frustrated and not banging on the desk, I was doing things like, is the audio on? Have you rebooted? Does this do anything? I'm useless. So he's doing a great job, but
thank you.
I know you wish you had an IT guy.
I'm not going to lie. There are times in my life that I wish you were a neckbeard and knew all of the stuff. And I would, if that was the case, I would totally date you while you're still in your mom's basement. I would.
Okay.
I absolutely would.
I will say this though. I'm not sure if they can cook. I honestly don't know. They might be able to cook, but I can cook, and you love that.
Can I get some more? Can I get some more of those shrimp? Can I get some more of that chili, maybe?
So we went up this particular weekend to San Francisco or the Bay Area to hang out with Marie and Stephen because I am a first-generation American, and it was Patty's Day weekend, and my family is Irish, and I made cold cannon and sausage rolls. Sausage rolls, we found out, are sort of global. I made sausage rolls, and I had somebody who is of Danish descent say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you made sausage rolls." And I had somebody of Australian descent say the same thing. And I had somebody of British descent say the same thing. And I had somebody of New Zealand descent say the same thing. And then we looked it up, and there's also sausage rolls in Sweden and all of Nova Scotia and all of Canada. So
pretty much anywhere
delicious.
you can grow wheat and kill cows.
Yeah. And it's funny because
Ooh, Kim Hansen wants a recipe for the sausage.
Yeah, I will.
Terminus, yes. Terminus,
I don't know
potatoes
if we can
are
post it here, but I will definitely send it to you, Kim, and I'll share it next week. And Dan Lundy, thank you so much. Dan and Jen Lundy, as you guys probably noticed if you follow me on Facebook, were graceful enough on their San Diego Make Good vacation for all the hockey to come and see us. And it was lovely. We had not enough time, but we had one nice, lovely evening with them while they were here in San Diego. And I made street taco, San Diego street taco.
Jude Stenson. So it's a worldwide sausage fest. Yes.
That's why you guys love each other.
Worldwide sausage fest. It's global.
But it was lovely. And I will say to you, my lovely friends, the Lundys, Reese still loves that cow toy. They brought us a awesome toy, which gets pulled apart by Velcro and get put back together. And Reese loves it because she's violent, but she's not that violent.
Reese is, gosh, I'm trying to remember the term. It's related to stolen valor guys. Something about mall. I can't. I've talked to Chris Grell about this term before. So there's a term for the gentlemen who buy lots of firearms and all of the gear and every possible accessory and get all tricked out, and yet they have zero knowledge or experience of what it might actually be like to be in a difficult situation. And I can't remember the term, but that's basically Reese. Reese can posture up. She can get all tough. I'm like, this dog can't win a fight against anybody. She is not going to win any fight. So she's got a little violence. Squeaky, on the other hand, little tiny Squeaky. Look, if it comes to the apocalypse.
Oh my goodness, cosplay I love that.
Cosplay. There you go. If it comes to the apocalypse, because my beloved, gorgeous, incredible wife has already said,
bait.
As soon as the apocalypse hit, she's dead. She's out. She doesn't want to get sweaty and stinky, so she's going to die. I'm going to try and survive. Me and Squeaky, because Squeaky, little tiny Squeaky, incredible coordination, vicious bite, small, can maneuver through confined areas. I think she's going to go out and find dead birds for us and kill wounded birds, bring them back. I think Squeaky's a murderer. She's very tiny, but she's a murderer.
I will also say, as I already mentioned today, I fully cleaned my entire house today because it's no longer going to rain. I tried to do it before the Lundys came over and I failed, but I did pretty good. But anyway, she absolutely barks at every human on a dog walk, at most dogs on a dog walk, and she absolutely is terrified of the tiny vacuum cleaner. Like the little one-handed vacuum cleaner that is USB charged. She's terrified of it. So I'm not sure she'd be so good in a fight either.
So we are closing in on the final moments of this incredibly scintillating, perfectly sounded, wonderfully lit, multicam theatrical presentation we showed you guys. I may have been playing some Fortnite as of late with Chris Grell, with the Evil Queen, we're trying to get A spun up on it, but she's a little hesitant. But I have gotten to the point in Fortnite, it's a video game, for those of you who don't know what that is, where when I get into a situation where I should have successfully eliminated the other person, but I fat finger it or push the sticks too far or do a crazy thing, and I get frustrated when I slam, because I'm 7, I slam the expensive controller down on the floor and then release a set of epithets. Now, I would say each of the 2 controllers I have
just one controller
have survived at least 3 potentially cataclysmic fatal crashes with the ground. Remember, it's not the throw, it's the landing that fucks them up. And then the black controller.
What just happened?
How did you guys do that? Who did that shit?
I don't know.
Whoever did the balloons, do it again. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Did you press anything?
I didn't press a damn thing. Did you guys see the balloons? Are we hallucinating? Are we seeing the underskin right now?
Are you Billy?
I
see the balloon?
Am I Nurple? Am I Nurple? God damn it. So I have smashed one controller, the black controller. Now I can't fire because the button to fire doesn't work anymore. So I can run around. So I switched controllers to the controller, which doesn't have a battery anymore. So I have to connect that direct. God damn it, there again.
Who doing that? Ooh, I said who doing that.
I don't think who doing it did it. There it is again.
It's going. Wait, there's no?
No, it's in our main feed.
No, I know that. I'm trying to see if there's a button. This is super fun.
Are you hitting a button?
No.
Are you guys seeing the balloons, or am I high as shit?
They're definitely seeing the balloons, and you're not high at all.
Wait, Daryl Howard says the balloons are from hand signs do two peace signs. Like that?
That's not.
No, I see. It's talking about the. Anyways, I have smashed the one controller so I can't pull the trigger. The other controller, I can't use the left trigger, which lets you scope in on people. So basically, because I am so mature and so eloquent and erudite, I have smashed two controllers, haven't been able to play in a week. The new controller just got here. It has charged that shit up.
I also updated your Fortnite.
I'm going to go get, Danny Lundy says it's the snipes. Exactly. I'm going to go get liquored up and I'm going to play a bunch of Fortnite and I'm going to worry about fixing. I'm worried about.
We're idiots.
I'm worried about fixing all this audio shit later. So there you go. That's what's up.
You
Ladies
guys are
and gentlemen.
Fantastic. We absolutely missed you. Thumbs up does fireworks.
Daryl, do it. Daryl, give me goddamn fireworks.
No, he's saying you have to do 2 thumbs up. You do one on your side.
No.
You do one on your side.
Babe, they're talking about emoticons.
No.
Yeah, they're not talking. What? See? Who did that shit?
Let's do it. Let's do it again. Me on my side, you on your side. We're idiots.
Oh! A-team, go. Honey, I think someone's doing that to us on the controllers. I was going to make balloons, but then I got high.
Listen, Dan Lundy,
I was going to do a thumbs up, but then I got high.
Absolutely hope there's an honor box for the controller.
I was going to play Fortnite, but then I got high. Because then I got high. Then I got high. Then I got high.
Steve, the iceberg, Rickyberg, again, happy birthday on Saturday.
Von Lowe says
Scott's going to go get beat up by some kids to make himself feel better.
Thank you, D7. Von Lowe says we have to eat a bug to make fireworks. Vaughn, I'm not sure that is accurate, but I can't not know. So I'm going to have to go find a palatable bug and consume it.
I don't even care if that's true or not. I hope it's true. That would be super fun. But my goodness, that made me laugh so hard I might die.
Oh, jeez. All right. So y'all are kind of fucking with us with the balloons and the thumbs up and the fireworks.
They might not be, though. We don't know.
How do you trust these people? Honestly, God, how do you fucking trust these people?
Because I've known and loved them for a decade.
There's not one in the bunch that's saying they're all fucking evil.
There's Steve, there's Martin, there's Jen, there's Dan, there's Jennifer.
Evil. That's the one. That's the one sign
I've known
I know.
In my whole
that's
life.
all I know. E. That's all I got.
There's Vaughn.
There's
Oren.
Evil.
No.
Evil. All right. Anybody of you in the chat room who are not evil, please type "not evil" in the chat room. But don't you fucking lie to me. Don't you fucking lie to me, you son of a bitch.
We love you guys.
All right, you guys are great. We will be back. See, no one's typed it in yet. See, I'm so right. I know people. I know the human experience. We'll be back. Oh, that's you.
We will be back on March 27th with Slay, episode 53.
Oh, Danny Baker's evil as fuck, of course. Until then, we want you to stay smart.
We need you to stay science, you guys. The JN variant in North America, big.
For fuck's sake, apparently all I needed to do to get a bunch of activity in the chat room was to get people to try and say they're not evil. Look at this. Look at this. Everyone's just like,
in the chat
room. Lundy. Hey, guy. All right.
Terry Davis is maybe evil. I'm so happy.
Benjamin Erickson is 23% evil. Love it. John Bivens, cheers, bro. Here we go. Love you guys. Missed last week. We'll be back next week. We'll work on all of these various audio problems because our goal is to give you an hour of delight each week where you can tune in, forget about your problems, hang out with us, and then listen to the same shit I put out the following Sunday, and then forget your problems for half an hour. That's what we do. And for the love of science, stay the fuck informed. All right. I don't have the extra camera, so I can't give you the death glare. So here we go.
Love you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now I've been nice. Yumi, I'll kiss off into the sky. Ha!